What's going on, guys? Darth back with some more Queen's Blade Limit Break video content here. In this one, we're going to go over Genesis runes. We're going to go over what they are, what they do for you, how to obtain them, and then as with all aspects of this game, when it comes to gearing and various things in the game, is it worth it? Well, you're going to get to see that in action here, and then you can answer that for yourself. But at the end of the video, I will give you my thoughts on that, and hopefully, I think you're going to find that it aligns probably just right. Well, what are rune stones? Let's get right into it. Let's just bring it up. I'm going to show you what a Genesis rune stone is. I'm going to show you, that's not where I want to be, what they look like, and we'll go into the description. There it is. That is a Genesis runestone. It is technically a rune stone. Okay, it's not. It is very different, but it is the same technical thing as a normal runestone. It equips in the runestone slot, but it is vastly different. Genesis runestone is the highest form of runestone you can obtain in the game. Okay. There's not a lot of these out there, so there's a lot of people who actually don't know, first of all, that these exist. They definitely don't know how to obtain them. And we're going to go over that. The questions are starting to pop up in my guild chat as to what they are, mainly because they've inspected a high-level player, aka a high-paying player, and they have seen them, and they've started to ask questions as to how to get them. The technical, let's just go over the technicality real quick. The technical highest runestone that you can obtain in the base game, we're talking about base game, I mean free to play. When I say base game, I mean free to play because technically there is a base game here, just not readily apparent. Everybody can access the lowest quality of rune, which is green, all the way up to red, which is the XXL rune. Okay, you can obtain these. It's just as how fast you can obtain enough runes to continue to synthesize all the way up to a red, and each warrior can equip 2 runes, and so forth. You have a primary team of 5, so you need 10 rune stones, preferably. So the technical base game can go up to red and equip 2 of those, but that is not the highest level of rune that you can obtain. It is a Genesis runestone. Now, it looks kind of cool. Just from the look of it, you're going to want it. But it should also look familiar. It actually resembles artifact gear. Because artifact gear is the highest form of gear you can obtain in the game. And it functions actually very similar. Now, I will tell you that Genesis runestones is also, I just want to make it very clear that it is the second paywall in the game. The first paywall is obtaining Revelation Stones to upgrade your 5 boot camp warriors from 11 star to 12 star, which I have done well over a week ago. I've been meaning to bring you guys content on that, but something always gets in the way or happens. But this is the second paywall, meaning that the only way to get to this point is by investing and spending money on it. There is a disclosure that I'm going to get to because I can already hear you. Technically, the only way to upgrade from a red rune, because you can go from red to Genesis stones, but it's different, is to buy a premium currency known as Genesis runes, or Genesis stones, I'm sorry. Aptly named Genesis stones to upgrade to Genesis runes. Okay, we'll talk about how many you need here in just a second because the upgrade process is also different. But I just wanted to point out that the only way really to get those Genesis rune stones to upgrade is to pay for them. Very expensive, guys. Now the disclosure is that last week there was an event that is technically called a high-level event where you could obtain high-level currency. Probably doesn't make sense to you because a lot of people had trouble with the voyage event last week, but it provided us with currency that allows us to purchase a small number, 2, of premium currency such as these stones, and I was able to obtain 2 of them. And I chose to do that so that I can make a video and show you exactly what this process is like, thus helping anybody who has this question, which they eventually will, as to whether or not these are actually worth it. So the process changes somewhat. When you upgrade a normal runestone, it's called synthesizing. You go into the synthesis screen, you sacrifice 5, it upgrades to the next 1. So 5 for 1. You get all the way up to red. The process is actually different when it comes to Genesis stones. You can't synthesize them, you have to refine them. We're going to take a look at that process here. So let's equip. You have to actually equip a red rune in order to kind of go through this process. You go into the red rune, and you now, instead of synthesizing and reform, you now have reform and refine. They call upgrading from a red runestone to a Genesis runestone refining. Now, right away you're going to notice one change. You do not need 5 red runestones to go up to a Genesis rune. That's actually a good thing, considering the amount of materials it would take to get, first of all, most players to 1 red runestone, let alone 5. So that is good, but it's also bad because it's still extremely difficult to obtain a runestone. So let's click on refine here, and it'll tell you exactly how to upgrade that process. 1 red rune to a Genesis. You need 2 of these stones, Genesis stones, and you need 1,000 diamonds. Okay, assuming you have all these materials, right away you're going to notice a couple of differences. You're going to notice that the upgrade process adds new benefits to the Genesis stones. Genesis stats, attack plus 2%, HP plus 2%. Genesis stats, opening skill effect, and skill combination. We're going to talk about those in just a second, but this is how you upgrade from a red rune to a Genesis stone, assuming that you have the stones here. It's the first question that a lot of people have is, how do I even start this process? Because you can't refine it. Well, that's easy. Equip the red rune to your tune, go into the refine process, and complete it. Okay. Now, I want to point out a couple. Now let's go take a look at what a Genesis runestone interface looks like, because it is different. Okay. You're going to notice some familiarity here, but you're also going to notice a couple of differences. You got your base attributes, which is the same as a red rune. You got your rune skills, which is the same as the red runes. Now, I want to point out that upgrading from a red runestone to a Genesis runestone keeps the base attributes and rune skills you already have on the red runestone. A lot of people are probably going to be worried about that at one point. Is like, are they going to randomly re-roll what's here, especially after you've spent any reform items to get it right where you want to? No, it's going to maintain the base attributes and rune skills. Don't have to worry about that. But it's going to give you an initial additional benefit of 2% attack and HP. Take that with a grain of salt, guys. It is what it is. That's anybody who knows that this 2%, although it does add up and it does increase, and 2% is 2%, it's off the base attribute of the highest star level and maximum level you have, the base attributes, not your whole attributes. But you still have that new addition, and that's right away. What's locked still is Genesis skills and initial skills. These are unique to the Genesis rune because you have to continue to refine a runestone. But when we talk about benefit here, okay, let's say you went through the cost of buying 2 stones for 1, which generally is going to cost you, let's say you do it the cheapest way, $20 just for 1 runestone. Okay, this is what you're going to have here. It's not a good upgrade for $20 right away. Not in my opinion. But let's go into the refine process, because in order to continue to upgrade this process, you need yet more Genesis stones and more diamonds. This is way worse because I've done the upgrade from 11 to 12 star. This is a way worse paywall. This is the worst paywall there is in the game. Okay, just upgrading it one time, let alone 2 runestones for all your warriors, and then continuing to upgrade it. I digress. So what's really the other benefits? What are all these other items? Well, if you go into the refine screen and click on the list, we're going to take a look at it. There's a couple of different things that it actually opens up for you. As you upgrade them, the HP and attack bonus that you get goes up, all the way up to 12%. You get access to Genesis ranks, okay? They actually consider it light and dark. That's what these icons are, okay? They consider it light and dark. You're going to be able to add a damage increase to specific types of warriors in the game. Mage warriors, warriors which are physical, mages are magical, tank, support, and you're also going to be able to get damage resistances from them. You also have access to a combination skills. Based on the combination that you have here, you're going to be able to gain additional bonuses. If you have 2 dark skills, dark Genesis stats, you're going to get a 6% damage bonus for 1, crit damage, and a 2% damage bonus each turn. This has a lot of unique effects in that it could provide a lot of power, additional power to you. If you have a light and a dark, you get 5% absorb. You get 5% speed. HP falls below 60%, you gain a damage bonus and a crit rate. To light, you get negative 6% damage. Heals for 10% of your max HP, sub 30% damage. Own healing in battle. It does open up a lot of different combinations that I just wanted to go over briefly, but most of us will never have access to. As you continue to upgrade and refine these Genesis stats and these skills and combinations that you just saw here can be combined into giving you powerful bonuses and effects. Now, that is it, guys. Genesis runes is the highest form of rune you can get. You take 1 red, you invest premium materials into refining into a Genesis rune, and it unlocks a new path of upgrading your runes. My final thoughts on this, given how much the materials cost, even though there are powerful bonuses here, it is not worth it, guys. Okay, it's not worth doing this. I got the 2 Genesis stones for free, so I upgraded it so that I can see what the process is. And yes, I will eventually probably equip this on my normal tomb. Let's just go over, I want to see, you can still reform. A lot of people are going to have questions about that. And the cost is the same as if you were reforming a red runestone. So we don't have any additional cost. If you know anything going from orange to red, it goes from 1500 to 38. It's a much more substantial cost increase, and it still randomizes your skills and base attributes. But you still have access to the self-select once you've invested enough materials. It is not worth it, guys, honestly, but I wanted to give you a overview of that process, what a Genesis runestone is, how to upgrade them, and what the benefits are. Being that this is the second paywall in the game and the most harsh paywall in the game, I think that this is very bad. High-level players do have access to additional benefits and bonuses. Most of them don't really need to take on, low levels like us, but it is very sickening to kind of see this kind of a paywall system in place. So again, just keep in mind that you need 2 runestones just to upgrade one of these, okay, into a really initially no benefit. The 2% attack that you get is nothing, and then you need another 3 to refine the second time just to unlock the first Genesis stat, effectively costing you about $40 if you do it the cheap way. I don't really think that it's worth it, guys. I tend to stay around the orange runes. That's a discussion for another video. For several reasons, I tend to stay there, even though I can make several red ones. That's it, guys. Genesis rune stones, the highest runes you can get in the game, locked behind in what I consider an extreme paywall, that a lot of people actually have these, particularly in my guild. A lot of people in my guild are the strongest on the server. They're the strongest across many servers. They have them. Well, that's it, guys. What do you think? What do you think of this paywall? What do you think of rune stones? They're cool looking. They're pretty looking. They do give you access to a lot of powerful benefits, but most of us, I'd say 95% of us, and I don't think I'm under exaggerating, will not have access to them. That's it, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.